So do I, believe it or not. Does actually cover for it. Oh my word. Game on with the wind in their favour now. Folks, you might remember a couple of months ago, I teamed up with Xbox to introduce to you the Everyday Tactician initiative, in which Bromley Football Club were looking to hire a Football Manager player to come and work with them. And as you can see, I am now down here at Bromley. A few months have passed. The person that they hired has been in the job for a couple of months, and we're here to meet them, find out what they're doing as part of their role, see how they're getting on, see how they won, and also to answer one of the most important questions any of us have ever had about Football Manager, and that is just how closely does Football Manager ability translate to real life football ability. It's actually the semi-final of the FA Trophy today. Bromley are going to be playing Solihull in that. The winner of that goes to Wembley, so it's kind of a big deal of a football match. And I'm going to be sitting down with Nathan, the Everyday Tactician, as we plan to win this game both in FM and in real life. And let's see how close the two outcomes are. But before that, you know I love to explore a non-league football ground, so before any of that stuff, let's go and have a nose around inside, see what we can find the club shop, and have a little explore. So we have the club shop, including a generous assortment of shirts, and then we've got all of the gloves. If you want a pair of Bromley gloves, this is the place to come. This is cool. They've got a little model version of the ground. Ties. You have no idea how hard it is to find club ties for some clubs. And then various bits of like memorabilia and things in here mixed in with the merch, which is really cool. Loads of programs. We've got some more like casual wear shirts and things there, some boots down the bottom. Loads of these hats. I might have to get myself a hat. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow for the match, but we might have to look into a hat, or maybe a jacket. That is a snazzy little number. They don't seem to have any of them in, but I like the look of that one. And then various signed photos, more programs, pin for the collection. Of course, we're going to have to get a pin. And then team photo, we've got the women's team. And then the men's team there as well. And then we come out through here and we have, if we can get the right door open, little outdoor drinky poos spot. And then a football pitch. So that is the new stand that is attached to this massive new facility. It's only been here a couple of years, this bit. Look at the size of that as a scoreboard. That's insane for non-league. But you've got the new Glyn Beverley stand that goes all the way down there. And then on this side, obviously National League, we can still have terracing, like a little bit of terracing. But you then come round to more seated areas. So this is where like presumably the original bit of the building was, because this is where the changing rooms are that we're going to get to go in a little bit. I've been promised changing room time. So in here, so this is, I mean, these are all reserved for season ticket holders. So they've obviously got a fair few. And then here is the tunnel where we can then get through to obviously both sets of changing rooms and things. And I'm not going to wander down there on my own because I don't want to get shouted at. But we'll hopefully get down there and have a look down there in a bit. But you've got the home away, the officials' changing rooms, etc. in there as well. It is an artificial pitch, which if they do get promoted this year, which if you look at the National League table is a distinct possibility. So if they do get promoted, they are going to have to dig the pitch up over the summer and redo it for grass. But in the meantime, it's an artificial pitch, which obviously means they can train on it, they can do other matches on there, they can ground share here, and it's all extra like sources of income for the club, which is all part of contributing towards how the club manages to be a profitable enterprise. And then over the other side of the pitch, that's where we've got the dugouts, and above there is the little gantry area, which I think is where the performance analysts hang out. And I think I'm going to be allowed access to that either later today or during the match tomorrow. I get to go up there and have a little look, which should be a lot of fun. So I've made it into the changing rooms here at Bromley, and this is the man himself. Yep. Winner of the What is the job title you've got here?
It's promoted as the Everyday Tactician, but my actual job title is Support Performance Analyst.
There you go. The support performance analysis.
Well, we say Everyday Tactician just to match the branding of what's
Of course. Nathan, welcome to the channel. Yeah, very good to meet you. This is bonkers. We're sat in the changing room of an actual football team.
Yeah, not just like any football team, or Bromley FC promotion chasing.
Yeah, absolutely. How likely do you think this was going to happen when you put your application in for the Everyday Tactician?
Like I said in episode 1, I had a 5% chance. That's what I gave myself.
Obviously, there were certain criteria that you had to do to be able to apply.
Yep.
There was a specific Xbox achievement you had to get for winning the league.
Yep.
And then you had to make a video.
Yeah, I had to do a video effectively putting my best self forward and uploaded it through an unlisted link on YouTube. You know, it was me and however many thousands of people.
Do you know how many of applicants there were?
No,
They've not shared that.
and then I think it got watered down to 10, then to 5. I think 3 of us had an interview here, meeting the gaffer for the first time, and Mark Hammond, the CEO, and then it's me.
So who was your save with that you
Sheffield Wednesday.
Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, I did a Sheffield Wednesday save.
That's not a bad achievement, winning the league with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
It was Sheffield Wednesday only just because at my old job, I got to see them get promoted into the championship. And at that point in time, I was like, yeah, I mean, I've seen them get promoted. I'm going to take them up as high as possible as well. And
I mean, as a Peterborough fan, it does sting that you mentioned Sheffield Wednesday getting promoted last season because of what they did to us in the playoff semi-final. But I'll cut you some slack. I'll let you off. I'll let you off for that one. I feel like I've been set up with a deliberate dig there.
I remember watching that game.
So do I, believe it or not. So then the interview was like no interview anyone has ever had before because it was all filmed.
Yeah, it was.
How much extra pressure does that pile on?
I think that was my first foray with the cameras in my face.
I mean, interviews are hard enough as it is.
I was a bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I can't say. I think that was the most nervous I'd been throughout the whole application process. Yeah. And especially having the cameras in my face. But it was a unique one as well because it was more like, what is your understanding of football? Yeah. So they kind of asked me questions about football and then also tying it into Football Manager and the save that I did as well. And then they gave me some stats to look over of 2 different teams and basically tell them what I picked out from it and like what the trend showed, what the possession showed, what I would gauge from that as well. Basically, what we're going to be doing later when we look, when we simulate the game tomorrow, kind of similar to that. Yeah. And effectively what my job role is here now as well. And then that was it. Cameras in the face, answering questions. And
you had no previous experience of like real football. This was all based on Football Manager.
The only experience I had with real football is doing my FA level 1, and I was like a volunteer coach at my old sixth form as well, but nothing to the levels of what is going on here.
Wow. So you've been in the job, what, 2 months now?
Yeah, it started February 2nd.
So what does it actually involve? What are you doing? I think that's what everyone wants to know. What actually is the job?
Helping the team as best as I can, and that just involves me looking through a lot of stats, a lot of video of opposition teams, a lot of penalties. I look at a lot of penalties just to help us create a graphic for our keepers, just to make sure that if a penalty does happen, which there will be hopefully none, but potentially many tomorrow, our keepers are best equipped to save them. And then there's just also smaller things that one of the coaches may ask us, just be like, this game happened in one of the top leagues. Can you pick out some patterns that might benefit us as well? So it's a lot.
So you'll analyse matches that other teams are involved in and try and like steal ideas effectively?
Yeah, that play a similar shape to us.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, just to learn and maybe kind of get some inspiration of what they do and what we do as well. And then there's also the Xbox side of it as well, where I'm just recording a lot of videos and
social media superstar.
Yeah, having a lot of cameras in my face as well. So there are two sides to this job.
Yeah, definitely.
That, you know, maybe if I came through it in a conventional way, I wouldn't have had, but it's a fun experience and it's something that I don't, you know, I'm not going to take granted of.
During a match, you're obviously watching the match. Are you watching that from the dugout, or are you?
I'll be up in the gantry, which is just above the dugout towards the middle. That's where Joe and I will be, where we film, again, just so we can look back and create clips for everyone if needs be. And then just also so we have just a different angle compared to what the coaches will have down at pitch level as well. So
you're like scribbling down constant notes that you're then feeding back to. No, have you got a line to the manager during the match?
We have a line, so we film, as I said, we film it and there's a live feed, and then Joe can just clip it and send anything that the coaches need just to them so they can see it down, and that's what you would see in like Premier League as well with all the iPads and stuff. So we're doing the same thing here. It's
so much more high tech than I thought it would be.
In the old days, I'll be up in the gantry, passing notes, running down, handing them and running back up to the gantry.
How big is the team that are doing that here? It's not just you, presumably, doing that stuff, or is it?
It's just me and Joe, really.
Wow.
It's just us two with the bulk of it. When we have matches, opposition analysts come as well. Yeah. Just to film and do the same thing that we're doing. And sometimes you get one, and sometimes you get two. So I do think we're at a standard number, kind of. But it's not just a me and Joe kind of thing. Yeah. We're doing the filming and uploading it, but the coaches themselves look at it as well. They'll clip stuff. They'd present stuff as well, and they'd ask us to do as well. So it's a whole team effort, really. Yeah.
During your couple of months in the job, has there been a moment where you've been able to go like, I helped make that happen. That's because of what I found.
It's the Chesterfield game. It's unfortunately not a happy memory because it was like one of the first 3 weeks of me being in the job, and like I said, penalties are a big part of what I look over, and we gave away a penalty, and it's just they did score from it. So it's just like, you know, I look at the footage and I put the graphic in, and then, you know, for them to still score from it, it hurts a little bit. I know penalties aren't, you know, a 50-50 thing, and you're more likely to score than you are to sort of have it saved. But, you know, just it would have been a little bit of a proud moment, especially my first month there. I thought something I contributed helped us.
So we made it indoors. We have got an Xbox set up, and we are going to start putting together a match plan for the Solihull game that is happening tomorrow. What are we doing? What is our match plan in real life for Solihull tomorrow?
So it's no secret. Bromley is a 3-5-2 team. We hold the width. Got two pressing forwards, two forwards at the front, which apply pressure and deny progress through the middle, and the team works well as a unit and as a whole.
Okay, so one of the things I wanted to do was, now we know what the plan is for real life, see how well we can apply that to Football Manager. So we've got Football Manager loaded up in front of us. We've got them into the 3-5-2 shape. Yeah. We think, I mean, we're recording this 24 hours in advance. We think this is the starting 11 that we're going to be using tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are we able to kind of replicate the player roles that we use in real life with the stuff that's in FM? Is this roughly how we're going to be working?
Yeah, this is what I would say.
This is your version.
Is as best of a representation of what we kind of ask everyone to do in real life, obviously without the intricate details of what we're asking. But this is a very good overview, a very good similarity of what you would expect them to do tomorrow.
So target man up front, pressing forward alongside him. So I would expect your pressing forward to be running off of the target man. Is that the plan that we're going to be doing?
Yeah, looking for the knockdowns, just into the target man, he makes it stick, and then just play off of him. So we'll start balanced. We won't be rushing out, we won't be sitting back. We'll kind of feel out how the opposition are playing, and if we feel like we can get joy, then we'll go a little bit more positive, as you'd see on Football Manager, and then if not, and we'll just become more cautious. So it's very, very flexible in what we and what the coaches will ask of the team to do in a match situation.
Can we look at the in possession instructions as well?
Yep. So in possession, we have wing backs, so we're going to be playing fairly wide anyway. They're just going to provide a lot of the width. Yep. Because we do like to hit counter as well, we will be passing into space. We're not going to do a counter with just tiki-taka really, and no no shame about it, no hiding it. We're a very proudly, very direct team, and it works for us, so we're going to keep doing it.
Absolutely. Okie-doke. And then if we look through the other couple of team instructions sections as well, we've got the transitional stuff.
Yeah, so
counter-attacking, quick distribution.
And hitting our target forward.
Hitting your target guy, yeah, exactly. That all looks like it matches up with what we've already talked about. And then out of possession. So this is how we'll be looking to get the ball back. Standard defensive line and a mid block. Do they change as the game goes on? Or?
Yeah. Like it will change. The mid block won't be a set in stone kind of thing where we just there and it doesn't change. Maybe we creep forward and push them back. Maybe the defensive line drops if we're expecting them to go long as well. So everything that you see here is kind of like a template, and we adapt. The team will adapt, the coaches will adapt as the game goes on, just to make it more beneficial for us.
Okay, cool. So now we know what the plan is and how we're trying to get the team playing. We are now going to play the match in FM that we're going to be playing in real life tomorrow, and we'll see how closely FM actually does match up to what happens in real life. See how, basically what we're looking for, are we going to see these little digital versions of footballers play similar kinds of football to what we're going to see in real life tomorrow? So let's jump into the match.
Yeah.
Previously, you would end up with big gaps in a situation like that, but the newer version of FM does actually cover for it. Oh, my word.
And that's why he's National League's all-time top goal scorer.
That was absolutely... I mean, if I see a goal like that tomorrow... That is sensational stuff.
I think if Bromley sees a goal like that, the roof is coming off.
Yeah.
Even though we don't have a roof, but the proverbial roof will come off the stadium.
Wonderful finish. I mean, it helps when you've got a guy who can do that in the team.
Yeah.
Does he do that often in real life?
Yeah, he does. Well, that's not something we'd expect tomorrow. I do think that's kind of where the game and real life would differentiate, where in this situation you wouldn't expect the ball to be played on the ground.
Oh, and there he is again.
There he is again, just had to pause it. You can see work the ball wide. Metzala, Corey, out wide. Our two strikers in the middle, put a great ball across goal and into the back of the net.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. As you were saying, that's the attack that you described, going down wide, getting the centre mid out wide as well. And yeah, that's... So, I mean... The plan is working, at least attacking-wise. The plan is working.
Attacking-wise.
Yeah. Here we go. What is your half-time team talk in this situation? What are you saying to the guys?
We're pleased. We do pride ourselves in clean sheets, which we unfortunately do not have, which may be a little negative point, but the plan's worked well. The score reflects how well the plan's gone, and the fans are happy. So overall, we will be pleased if this is the score at half-time tomorrow.
Yeah, excellent.
There we go. And into the second half we go.
More of the same, please.
Oh, and a corner.
Set piece o'clock. So we did have play for set pieces on as an instruction before. So this is part of the overall strategy. Make the most of these set piece situations.
And what a finish.
I mean, it's a good goal, isn't it? It's a very good goal. Would that be, I mean, I imagine in real life there's probably a little bit more variety of set pieces than you get in Football Manager. But obviously we've gone for an in-swinger to the far post there. Is that something that's in the repertoire?
I mean, I think it's just aiming for our most aerially dominant people, and Byron Webster, our skipper, is one of our most aerially dominant people as well, and just making sure that when a ball gets down in the box, we're on the end of it, and you can see that goal comes from it.
It's another thing that I love hearing you say, because the amount of times I've even got an emote for corner hacks, because people talk about the corners being abused, but it literally is as simple as what you just said. It's literally how I set it up in Football Manager. Well, it looks like the plan has been executed to perfection. And if a 3-1 win.
If this happens tomorrow, I think everyone's going home a lot happier tomorrow.
And now we just need to see if setting up in that way works just as well in real life tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So we're now about half an hour before kick-off. The ground is starting to fill up. The teams are both out warming up. It's still very, very windy up here, and we have got all kinds of computer gear being set up here as well. The camera that's recording the match. Both teams have got their performance analysis cameras. There's laptops and wires and all sorts of things everywhere. I had no idea it all got quite this technical. at this level of football. It's very, very interesting just being a fly on the wall, hovering in the background here, watching them get everything set up. So this is Nathan's little setup here with his computer on his little music stand, tapping away, but there's so much going on up here, and there's going to be more people coming up here as well. So as soon as we get a little bit closer to kick-off, I'm going to be booted out because it's going to be too busy up here. Plus it's really windy. I'm going to go down there where it's an 18-degree day apparently. There you go, a representation of just how windy it is. One of these massive flags, the pole has just snapped. It's a windy day. So we've got the Bromley Ultras over there, the Solihull lot are down this end. It's about 5 or 10 minutes before kick-off. I'm going to be departing from my vantage point in a moment and leaving all of these technical people with their technical machinery to it. And then that's the home dugout. So if electronic communications break down, they could just hurl notes from here, I imagine. So I've left Nathan up there to do his thing. I found myself a little hidey hole in the corner where I can just about see a nice view of the entire pitch. The players are just about to come out, I think. And obviously the big thing we're looking for is those similar plays, similar tactics to what we were discussing tucked away in front of an Xbox yesterday with Nathan. So if we see that kind of football being played, then we know the plan is all coming together. And remember as well, the stakes for this are pretty high. Wembley is the reward for the winner of today's game. So it's going to be quite tense, I think. Hopefully, Bromley can get off to a good start, or else there might be some very upset people around me. We've just seen a perfect example of that tactic that we discussed with Nathan yesterday. It's actually the second time we've seen it working as intended. Long ball forward, cheek nods down, player runs onto it. Really good chance. The two best chances of the game today have come from exactly that. The rest of the time, play is very much coming down this left-hand side. Again, as discussed, they're the two routes in the attack at the moment. It's either coming down the left or it's that ball forward aiming at the target man. It's almost as if Mr. Performance Analyst man knew what he was talking about. Who knew? Well, 36 minutes gone. It's now 1-0 to Solihull. I'm not entirely sure how. I guess the ball crossed the line. It looked like the keeper had made the save, but the goal has been given, so I guess it was over the line. It feels a little bit against the run of play. They'd had a couple of minutes of decent possession, I guess, hovering around the edge of the Bromley area. But 1-0 down, time to regroup. An equaliser before half-time would be very handy. Well, it's half-time, 1-0 to Solihull. Not exactly the game plan we had in mind, although I don't think you can see the tears in my eyes. It's not because Bromley are losing, it's because of how much the wind is still whipping around. And Bromley were actually shooting into the wind in that first half. So the whole direct aim at the target man play was quite difficult to pull off. Second half, they're going to be playing with the wind behind them. So fingers crossed, it can be that little bit more effective in the second half. But so far, not quite what we had in mind. We're about 15 minutes into the second half. We talked about play from set pieces. There was a corner, there was a long stoppage because a Solihull player got injured and had to be replaced. Then a free kick for Bromley. As a result, cross comes in, initially saved, but the rebound is tucked away. It's 1-1, half an hour of the game left to go. Of course, this does have the potential to go to extra time and penalties as well, because it's the cup semi-final. But game on with the wind in their favour now. Play for set pieces. Click that button, boys and girls. Well, we are about 10-15 minutes from the end of the match, and Solihull have just scored in controversial circumstances. A corner from right down here in front of me, and the ball was that far outside of the corner bit. I know the technical term, I'm just choosing not to use it. So shouldn't have been allowed to be taken from there, and then they scored from it. Not ideal. FM doesn't replicate things like that, does it? 2-1 Solihull, less than 15 minutes left, and it's starting to rain. This is all a long way from ideal. Right, we have now had 9 minutes since the 9 minutes was announced. I thought it was a Bromley corner, it's actually a Solihull goal kick, so that's going to be that. And there is the final whistle. 2-1 to Solihull. And there we have it. It turns out Football Manager can fairly accurately replicate a style of play. Certainly the team set up the way we had them set up in FM. The routes of attack were exactly what the plan was in game. It was very direct. It favoured that left-hand side. You had the central midfielder drifting out onto the left, doubling up with the wing-back. It was pretty effective. There was a lot of balls forward aiming at the big target man. The only problem was, I mean, you might be able to tell now, that wind that was in the first half is pretty much gone. So during the first half, the direct ball forward to target man was basically cancelled out by the wind not allowing it to happen. And then in the second half, when we hoped that the wind would favour that approach, the wind just died down massively. So sometimes you just don't get a lot of luck. I need to see the 2 goals again. They both seemed pretty controversial from where I was standing. Presumably the first one was over the line, but that second one, that corner, definitely shouldn't have allowed to have been taken from where it was. So these are the kind of luck of the draw things that Football Manager can't replicate. It's a shame though, isn't it? All that being said, I've had a jolly good couple of days down here at Bromley, so big thank you for Xbox for arranging the Everyday Tactician initiative. If you want to catch up with more of what Nathan has been getting up to in that role, there is actually a TNT Sports documentary series as well, so I'll link to that down in the description below so you can go and give that a watch. But for now, I guess I need to make my way home. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on it for me. Subscribe to the channel for loads more football and, of course, Football Manager content. And thank you very much for watching. They sound very happy that they're going to Wembley.